daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Well, a very warm hello to you, wherever you are listening to the world. Bonjour, ciao, ni hao, privet, hola, g'day, and welcome to Road to the World Cup 26. It's that time of the week again where we take a deep dive into teams who have qualified for the World Cup. You're listening to, it is the Road to the World Cup 26 podcast. It is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only place to find your regular soccer content on the top English Premier League teams, including your daily Premier League roundup and, of course, the Road to the World Cup 26. I am your host, Nick Britton. I am joined, as I always am, well, sometimes always, that's if he's not in hospital, by my esteemed colleague, the man who looks all right. He looks like he's lost about 8 stone, but he looks all right. The Beaver himself is back. Mr. Ken Davis. Hello, Ken. It's good to see you.
Hello, Nick. Thanks, mate. It's been a rough week, but I'm here. I survived. I rolled a stone away. I raised from my deathbed to come and sit here and record Road to World Cup, which I wouldn't miss for the world. I'd do it from the other side of the veil if I had to. I'd do it in ghostly form.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see
try that, by the way.
Well, no, that would be good. Although I'd feel, I don't know if I could deal with being haunted by you. That would be a bit weird. That
would be a bit weird.
It would, wouldn't it? I mean, every time I'd had a shower and everything, I'm like, is Ken?
Yeah.
Or is he coming through?
Walking through the bedroom wall again.
Yeah, again. Yeah. I was about to say, is he coming through the bedroom wall? But that has different types of connotation.
To be honest, Nick, if I died and had the power to walk through bedroom walls, you wouldn't be close to the top of the list.
You have no idea how much comfort that brings me. Right. Okay. So what are we going to do? We are going to, just that thought has just completely thrown me now. We are going to take a deep dive today into the African, actually, one of the teams which comes up on the rails a little bit here, because it wasn't until I started doing a proper deep dive into this team that I realised, well, hang about, wait a minute.
They're a good team.
And they're a good team. I do, of course, mean Morocco. That's the prayer of the Sharif. That's cool.
Nice. It's nice. But it's a very funny song, though, isn't it? The way it starts, like da 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 da. It's
I felt like I was watching an episode of Scooby Doo for a minute. I was going to turn around.
It sounds like something Scooby Doo. You know, Morocco, they're standing there and it goes da 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 da.
And you turn around and there was this big monster behind you with his arms up like that. Yeah, the ghost of Ken behind you. But although it stands there looking at you for ages, it only starts chasing you when you run away. It doesn't take advantage of the fact that you are standing there.
Well,
you never notice about Scooby-Doo. And I'm a big fan of Scooby-Doo.
Who isn't?
They would see a monster and it stood right next to them going, ah, with their hands up in the air. And they would go, whoa, oh my goodness. And then they'd go, and run away. And then the monster would chase them. And you're going, well, why didn't you take advantage of the fact that you were standing next to them if you were going to kind of eat them? Or
Have you ever been accused of overthinking things?
No, well, strangely, I've been accused of many things. Overthinking.
You may be overthinking that one.
No, I don't think I am. It's an interesting concept. Because surely
Not really.
No, okay, fine. All right, well, we'll move on. We've got some World Cup news for you today. Some exciting World Cup news, actually. Some really, so it's a breaking news, hot running news story that started kind of yesterday in earnest and is continuing today. So we're going to have a look at a bit of that. Ken will bring us up to speed with the history of Morocco in the World Cup. I'll pick out 5 key players and we'll look at how they play. Kenny's quiz, everybody's favourite time of the week, is back. Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm interested to know what your Moroccan knowlove is all about. We'll have a quick see around a manager and then the podcast. Oh, he's got his pipe. Have you cleaned your pipe, by the way? That looks like clean. Is it different?
You do it in hospital.
I know you
nurses nicely. They'll do it for you.
I don't want to think about your
clean. Turn it into carry on podcast, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I know. Let's get on with it. We'll end the podcast as we always do by predicting how we think Morocco are going to get on. Yeah, so breaking news in the last 24 hours, really, and that is Israel's participation in the World Cup next year is looking increasingly shaky. And this is on two fronts, really. The first one, after the United Nations Commission of Inquiry said earlier this month that Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, there are now growing calls across the political spectrum for sporting sanctions against the country. So there's political pressure going on, and that's very much on a kind of global scale. But on a sort of more narrow football scale, in the last 48 hours, it appears UEFA, which Israel plays in, looks set to meet next week possibly to decide whether to suspend Israel. There's been quite a lot of reporting on this in the last 24 hours. One senior source at the European Member Association told BBC that their understanding is that the UEFA leadership wants to see action on this, and there's come a real lot of high-level pressure in the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks on this from other nations. And we've seen Norway wade into it. We've talked previously on this podcast, haven't we, about the Italian Coaches Association wanting Israel kicked out of the competition. Others are now getting involved. But of course, added to that and added to the wider situation is the USA have come out and said that they will fight any attempt to have Israel banned. Of course, we know that Donald Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino are very good friends. They're very close. They've been seen together sort of arm in arm almost since the launch of the World Cup. So it's an interesting sort of situation. And Ken, I don't know kind of what your thoughts are about this.
Well, nobody can see the scenes in Gaza and be untouched by that. I mean, let's make that clear. You know, what's going on in Gaza is a war crime, and it's a terrible thing, and it's an absolute tragedy for humanity. That said, I am not really an advocate of other teams choosing or organisations choosing who does and doesn't play in sporting competitions based on their assessment of a political situation. I don't think the things really mix. Now, having said that, I was in full support of South Africa not taking part in things back in the 80s. But I think we're on slightly dangerous territory here. I don't think it will happen. I think the main reason it won't happen is America won't allow it. And I think, obviously, with a lot of what's going on in America and a huge, obviously, pro-Israel lobby in America, I think whilst I absolutely understand why people are furious about it and want to make it happen, I actually just don't think it will. I actually, on balance, don't think it should. I think I would prefer that Israel continued in the World Cup. But
there is precedent.
It's a very fine line.
Yeah, there's precedent here. In fact, there's a lot of precedent of countries being banned from playing football. And I'm looking down a list that I compiled earlier on. Obviously, Russia are at the moment and continue to be and were banned in 2022. We've got Kenya and Zimbabwe. They've been banned from playing football for financial mismanagement reasons going back. And you mentioned South Africa, of course, for apartheid, Yugoslavia during the Balkan War, Chile, Indonesia, Kuwait, Mexico, Myanmar. I mean, there's lots of teams that have been banned for one reason or another from playing in the World Cup. I mean, the interesting thing here, there's a kind of subplot to this, I think, whereby if people are looking for political reasons, I think you're right. I think America has too much of a stronghold. But America doesn't have a stronghold on UEFA. And if UEFA decide to suspend Israel from football, it means they can't complete their qualifying campaign, which means they can't qualify for the World Cup anyway. So regardless of the wider political scene, they just, and we're not saying they'll be banned from the World Cup. They kind of are through the back door because they'll be banned from qualifying if UEFA takes the decision that Norway want it to take, Spain wants it to take, Italy wants it to take. Don't know what the UK's position is. We haven't heard from the FA on the matter, I don't think. But there is growing pressure from senior politicians and senior football people in Europe under the UEFA jurisdiction to remove Israel for the time being.
Yeah, it could happen. I would say, if I'm a betting man, I don't think it will. I think pressure from FIFA will be applied to UEFA. But it's a very interesting story, a very interesting watch, and it's a fine choice. It could easily go either way. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, interesting. It is a very interesting one. We'll keep a close eye, and we'll bring you an update, obviously, on the next podcast, because I think things might be moving by then a little bit. And whilst we're talking about US and Donald Trump, he has said today, this is a news story today, he said today that he will move matches at the 2026 World Cup from any cities that he thinks are unsafe. There are, of course, 11 cities that are going to be hosting games next year. There's also, if you follow American politics, lots been going on over the summer with the army being moved in to cities, breakdown of law and order, and that kind of thing. Trump has, well, he was asked specifically about games in Seattle and San Francisco. He mentioned also Los Angeles. I have no idea, Ken, whether this is a coincidence that all three of those are very democratic heavy cities. Who would have thought that?
You cynic.
But he said, look, if any city we think is going to be even a little bit dangerous for the World Cup or for the Olympics, but for the World Cup in particular, because they're playing in so many cities, we won't allow it to go ahead. We'll move it around a little bit, he said. In other words, he'll move the venue. I've no idea whether he has the right to do this. I've no idea whether he has the jurisdiction to just start moving games here, there, and everywhere, because obviously preparations are already underway in those various cities and the stadiums. So we'll see. Maybe it's just Donald Trump saying things.
I think it is. I think it's political pressure being applied to those cities to sort yourselves out, or we'll take the games away and all the financial implications of that. I think,
which by the way, I support. I support Donald Trump on this, because I think you must be able to put on a safe World Cup, and if there is, and I don't look, I'm not pretending to know what's going on in Seattle, San Francisco, or Los Angeles in depth. I mean, you see what you see on the news, but I think whether you are a president or a prime minister or whatever, if you are the most senior person politically in that country, then you are duty bound to ensure the safety of hundreds of thousands, millions of people coming to your country to watch a sports tournament.
I think that's true. I just think with Trump, as we all know, he tends to use things for political capital. He might forget about this by next Tuesday. I think we're still at that stage with it. And I think it's very unlikely, I think, given the planning that is required to pull these things off, that we're well less than a year away now. I can't see it happening. It's Trump being Trump.
Yeah, maybe so. But interested to see that.
Who he supports? Who plays in orange? Blackpool.
Yeah, Blackpool. They do. I'm trying to think of any MLS teams that play in orange. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from politics into something a little bit more lighthearted, and that is the mascots for the World Cup have been announced today. I think it's today. It certainly wasn't around yesterday, so I presume it's today. Can you imagine? I should put this in Kenny's quiz. To be fair,
I haven't seen it. No.
Have you seen them? Have you not seen them? Right. In that case, brilliant. This should be Kenny's quiz, part one, early bonus edition of Kenny's quiz. What three animals are the three mascots of Canada, United States, and Mexico, which are, of course, the three host countries?
I'm going to say Canada, the beaver. Billy the beaver, obviously, something like that. I'm going to say the USA will be the golden eagle, and that's Gordon the golden eagle. And Mexico, they like it, their eagles as well. Mexico, I'd say Larry the lizard.
Any particular reason why you've gone for a lizard in Mexico?
I suspect there are a few there.
There are probably a few here.
If I was a lizard, if I had a choice between Derby and Mexico, I think I'd be in Mexico.
Yeah, the beer is better, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this does actually feel like a proper episode of Kenny's Quiz, because you got none out of three.
Fair enough.
So the three mascots are, and why did you? I mean, I know you're obsessed with beavers. I know that, and I know that's your nickname on this podcast. You are the beaver.
I am.
But the Canada one is Maple the Moose. It's a moose. It's Canada.
Fair enough. And maple.
And
Maple or maple?
No, maple, as in maple syrup, as in like Canada stuff.
Yeah.
Zayu the jaguar is from Mexico.
Yeah, got that.
And the United States element of the mascot is Clutch the bald eagle.
I got that.
No, you didn't. You said the golden eagle.
Oh, that's what I meant.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't mean that. Otherwise, you would have said it. So you think of Uncle Sam, the bald eagle, or indeed my fantasy league team, which is called the Bald Eagles, in memory of the late great John Smith. The late great Jim Smith, Derby's manager.
Yeah. How are they doing, by the way, the fantasy league?
Well, it depends which league you're talking about.
Moving on.
In some of the in one league, I'm third. In fact, I'm third in 2 leagues. I'm third in the league I'm in with you, but that's not great because there's only 3 of us.
Yeah,
I'm also third in another league with
in the Derby under 5s and infants league.
No, they're much better than me. They're much more technically advanced than I am. And that's about 8 of us, and I'm third in that. And I'm top, by the way. I'm top in one of my leagues. So there you go. I'm the only team in it.
Yeah. Well done.
So anyway, look,
we should have a Rugby World Cup one, shouldn't we?
Why? But we're already in one. There's only 3 of us. Now we're just creating another.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, you're only as we've had this conversation before. You're only beating me because you've got Haaland as captain. That's the only reason. Yeah. My other 10 players beat your other 10 players all the time. I was just so hoping somebody would just nobble Haaland last week.
You can have him too.
I can't because I haven't got enough money. I need to literally.
Fair enough. Right, now we get to the root of the issue.
Yeah,
right, let's go to Mexico.
Sorry, what?
Morocco. I mean, let's go on to Morocco.
Get on to the right place. Right. Yeah. Let's talk about Morocco. And what are we going to talk about? Should we talk about the players? Yeah. Let's talk about the players.
No, let's talk about the history.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll turn that off. I'll turn that sting off. Yeah. Talk about his. That's right. You go. I hadn't got that in my running order. To be fair.
Right. Okay. I'm being elbowed out of the.
I'm starting to just slowly cut you out of everything. Right. History. World Cup history of Morocco. Go.
Right. Morocco are known as the Atlas what? The Atlas what? It's an animal.
The Atlas Lions.
The Atlas Lions. Well played. One of Africa's most successful nations, member of FIFA since 1960. They've had 4 African Federation titles. They won the 1976 African Cup of Nations. They were the first African team to advance to the knockout stages of the World Cup in 1986. They were beaten 1-0 by West Germany. They featured in 6 World Cups. It's a very interesting pattern because 1970, they got knocked out in the group stages. 86, round of 16, we just mentioned it. 94, 98, 2018, all knocked out in the group stages. 2002, 4th place, semi-final. They beat Spain. They beat Portugal. They lost 2-0 to France in the semi-final. They then lost 2-1 to Croatia in the 3rd place playoff. But what an amazing performance. In their group, they topped the group. They drew with Croatia. They beat Belgium. They beat Canada. In fact, the only 3rd World Cup side not from Europe or South America ever to reach the semi-finals. So an absolutely fantastic performance by Morocco. And you might think, well, that's just a fluke. It's no fluke. If you look at their form for the last, well, as we always do, over 2024, 2025, they've played 15 games. How many have they won, Nick?
Of the last 15? 15.
14.
Close.
On Wikipedia, it says they've won 14 out of 14, but I've checked. You'd never just trust Wikipedia, do we?
Children? Well, you do. That's where you do all your research. That's it.
I never just trusted those. So I checked a different source, and there was a rogue game that wasn't included in the Wikipedia one, where they lost 1-0 to Kenya very unexpectedly. But last 15 games, they've won 14, drawn none, lost 1. In that time, they've scored 48 goals and conceded 5. I mean, you don't get much better than that. It's World Cup qualification. Obviously, it's not quite finished. They've only played 7 out of the 10 games, They're already qualified because they've won 7 out of 7. Absolutely stellar performance. They've got a goal difference in the World Cup group of plus 19, and they have literally battered everyone. Now, we have to say, because it would be remiss not to, the competition they're playing is not always Argentina. So we have to factor that in. But they can only beat what's in front of them, and they always do. So, rankings-wise, this is one of the most astonishing rankings journeys I've seen. And I know how much you enjoy a ranking journey.
Don't say it.
So they're ranked 11th currently. Bear in mind, Germany are 12th. That gives you a sense of how good they are. It's the highest ever position. In 2015, obviously before the run-up, 10 years ago, obviously, they were 90th. 90th. In the last 10 years, it's just been rise after rise after rise after rise, absolutely consistent, till they find themselves in 11th and deserving every point they get. So they are a team. They are a proper team.
Very good. Interesting. I don't think people will necessarily think that of Morocco, will they? They kind of think, right, who are the big guns of African football? They think Egypt or perhaps Nigeria, Cameroon. Yeah. But Morocco? No, they don't think that. Nobody thinks that except you. Well, very good for them. The question I'm going to ask them is, do you want to do the ad now or do you want to do it after the players?
I think we will.
Let's do it now. Because last time I went for about 3/4 of the way through the podcast without doing it. So we better get it right.
Do it. Because, as we know in football, as Waleed Regragi also knows, it pays to get the team started. Right?
Sorry?
Waleed Regragi.
Okay. That almost goes down as bad as your Julien Lopetegui pronunciation.
I beg your pardon. Right. Here at Local Global Sports Network, and at the head of the Morocco Football Federation, we spend a lot of time selecting our delivery partner. We chose Zencastr. Zencastr makes it easy to bring your vision to life. Share it with your audience, wherever they may be. It's got a 4K video recording. It's got easy AI editing. It's got top-tier distributions, and it's all in one place. So if you've got a story to tell it with Zencastr. Check the show notes for more details. Your mic's not on.
Okay, we're going to have a look at.
We are so professional.
I turned it off whilst you were reading the ad. Do you know why? Because I was watching a very short promo for the 3 mascots for the on the FIFA website for the 3. They're cute. They're nice little cartoons. That sometimes, particularly in the Olympics, you get mascots and you look at it and you go, "What is that?"
Like the 2012 one.
Yeah, like 2012 one in London. But every year, this is a proper kind of cartoon that it clearly looks like an eagle and a jaguar and a moose. They're cute. They're nice. Right. Okay. 5 key players then for Morocco. I'll start as we like to do. Start in goal. And in goal, we have Bono. Now, I sent you the little thumbnail I created for the YouTube today, posing the question, who's the best Bono? Is it the Moroccan goalkeeper or the Irish rock star? What's your answer?
My answer would be clearly the Moroccan goalkeeper, because I think the other one's a bit of a knob.
Well, in the context of playing in goal for Morocco, I think you're probably right. I think it probably would be the Moroccan goalkeeper, who goes by the name of Yassine Bounou, is his actual real name, but everybody calls him Bono. Age 34, 76 caps, legend player of Morocco. Spent the vast majority of his career at Sevilla, where he played 96 games, and I'm delighted to say, he's in the club, Kenny. He's in the goal-scoring goalkeepers club. Scored a goal. Yeah, scored a goal. I'll come to that in just a moment. Now plays for Al Hilal. He's consistently ranked very, very high in all these. At the end of the season, you get all these kind of rankings and this, that, and the other. Always up there, year after year after year. In fact, this year, it's just passed. We've just had the Ballon d'Or the other day, didn't we? He was ranked 5th in the Ballon d'Or Yashin Trophy, which is the goalkeeper section of the ballot.
Named after who, by the way? Named after who?
After Yashin.
Yeah, what was his first name?
Was it Len Yashin?
Lev.
Lev.
Yashin.
Oh, yeah. Hungarian goalkeeper.
A Russian. Anything else you want to get wrong while we're at it?
That's so bad, isn't it? I actually know. I know who you mean as well. He had a great. Don't start me off. You'll get me coughing. He had a great Club World Cup in the summer. Great World Cup. In fact, there was a clip. I don't know if you caught it on social media at the time. There was a clip of Haaland after Al Hilal. Do you remember they beat Man City in the Club World Cup? And it was like one of the biggest sort of upsets in global football. Haaland was caught essentially saying to him afterwards, "Can you please come and can you please come and play for Man City?"
Wow.
I think by then they knew Ederson was on his way out, and Haaland then had to deny it all, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's just recruiting their own. So yeah, he'd had a great game. So he was named in the team of the tournament at the Club World Cup. His goal was a brilliant hit in the 94th minute to rescue a point for Sevilla at Valladolid. That was back in 2021. And he smashed it. It was a proper goal. Because I always think goalkeepers make great goal scorers because they can just welly the ball, harder. They don't worry about positioning and place and which part of the foot they want to hit it and fancying around it. They just can smack it. I always think goalkeepers should take penalties. I always do. I think it's,
and there's a difference, isn't there, between keepers who kick it from their goal, if you like, goal penalty area, into the other goal. That happens occasionally.
Yeah.
Rarely, but it does. But actually, I much prefer a goalkeeper who's from open play is scoring.
Yeah. I mean, I presume he's gone up for a corner in the 90th minute, and it's just fallen to him. He's lashed it in. He's lashed it in, Kenny. We loved all that. But when I was researching all this, I found out something else, which is why I mentioned him just a moment ago. You know, Julian Lopetegui, the former West Ham manager and Wolves manager, and this and the other. I didn't know this. He was the Sevilla coach when Bono was playing there, but he was also a goalkeeper who played for Spain. The national team. He got one cap. He got one cap for Spain. I didn't know he was a goalie.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
I thought everyone knew that.
No, well, clearly not. Right, player number 2 is arguably the best right back in the world. Lots of people think he is, and that's Achraf Hakimi. 26 years old, 86 caps, just won the Champions League for PSG. He has a host of domestic trophies. He's one of the best. He's one of the best. He's lightning quick, great on the ball. Also named in the team of the tournament for the Club World Cup recently, and he is expected to captain Morocco when they host AFCON, which starts a couple of months' time. Played over Christmas, late December into mid-December, really into January. There's a story knocking around about him at the moment, actually, because he's facing serious allegations of sexual assault and criminal proceedings against him, which in the last 24 hours, he's released a really long statement, quite a detailed statement, essentially denying all the allegations. But French prosecutors want to proceed with the case, and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, it's a live case. We don't want to go into any detail on it, but he's released a statement. It's all over the media in the last 24 hours. It's literally everywhere. I've seen it so many times in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I did it.
No, not saying that.
I'm bang to rights.
No, if anybody's listening to this, that's not what he said. He denies the allegations vehemently and in great detail. So let's move on before you get us into any more trouble. The next player, then we move. So we've gone from defender to defense. Sorry, from goalkeeper to defense. Now we're going into the midfield, and that's Sofiane Amrabat, 29 years old, midfielder, 68 caps, plays for Real Betis. Had a spell, if you remember, at Manchester United. Do you remember him?
He did. Good player.
Yeah, he was a good player. A bit. I mean, look, it's like everybody who goes to Manchester United, you suddenly become a bad player overnight. It's just kind of what happens. He came with a really good reputation. He was only on loan, and it was when he was at Fiorentina. But yeah, it never worked out for him. Played 21 games at Man U. Just didn't really happen.
He's absolutely central to this team, though.
I think he is. Yeah. No, I think he is. Struggled a little bit. I mean, he was in terms of finding a club because he was at Fiorentina, 2020 to 2025, out on loan to Manchester United, then out on loan at Fenerbahce. In the summer, just gone, Fenerbahce bought him and immediately have sent him out on loan to Betis. So it's a bit weird, all of that. I don't really understand it. But back in January 2024, it's a good story here. Back in 2024, he was sent off twice in the space of about 30 seconds. Sent off twice. and he actually left the pitch. And what happened was he was given a yellow card. He'd already been booked in a game, and he was playing for Morocco and it was against South Africa in the in the AFCON. And he got booked initially on 64 minutes, and then in the 94th minute, he was penalised again for bringing down he was last man essentially. You know the old dog thing. He was last man, but he wasn't sent off. He was given a yellow card, but because it was his second yellow card, he was issued a red. So off he trudged. Only as he kind of reached the dressing room to be called back onto the pitch, because VAR had looked at it and decided it was a dog show offence, therefore it's not a yellow card, it's a straight red. So having been sent off, he got called back on. His second yellow card was rescinded and he received a straight red.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, so in one game, he's received 2 yellows and a red. That's pretty clever, isn't it?
Well, he's actually received 2 yellows and 2 reds.
Well, 2 yellows and 2 reds. Yeah, no, sorry, you're right. Yeah, two yellows and 2 reds. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to say. So yeah, fair play to him.
Fair play. Well played. Amrabat.
Yeah. Then we move up higher up the pitch to Youssef Ensiri, who again is one of these really, really, I think, important players for Morocco. He's 28 years old, 82 caps, 24 goals. He's the man they look for to score the goals for the team. He plays for Fenerbahce. Just signed there in 2024 for 19.5 million euros, making him the most expensive player in the club's history, and indeed that league's history. He's very much, I would say he's the goal-scoring superhero of the Moroccan team. Last season, it was a bit of a weird one for him because he started on fire. He scored 26 goals, 7 assists in 47 games. And everybody's going, this guy is amazing. This is for Fenerbahce, by the way. Then from March, he didn't really score, and everybody was booing him. And he was getting absolute pelters. You know what they're like in Turkey. He was getting absolute pelters from the crowd. So they were going to sell him. West Ham they had a £40 million or 40 million euros, bid rejected. Saudi apparently came in with a big bid, but I noticed when I was doing this that he's still at Fenerbahce and he started the season with them. So we'll see. But he's going to be key. And the reason I picked out these particular players I'll come to in just a moment. The last one is Ayoub El-Kaabi, who is age 32, 44 caps, 17 goals, plays for Olympiacos and has just been named the best foreign player in the Greek Super League for the 24-25 season, Ken.
Congratulations to him.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think you might be able to. You might get named best player in the Greek Super League if you turned up and played. Well, actually,
I like to think I'd be on the podium.
The podium, yeah. Yep. As long as it's a podium of 1 to 1,000, and you'd be like the tiny little step 3 miles away.
The stadium.
Yeah, 3 miles away with player 1,000. 17 goals, 2 assists, 31 games last season. It's not exactly Erling. That's for the national team. He's not exactly Erling Haaland standard, not prolific, but I don't know what constitutes prolific. I don't know. It's a pretty good record, isn't it? Pretty good record. And he'll be. I mean, again, you talked about, didn't you? They score lots and lots of goals. Well, they've got 2 good goal scorers in the team. That's why.
Makes a lot of sense. And they do rotate. You see quite a lot of rotation between El-Kaabi and El-Neziri.
Yeah. What system do they play then? What formation do they set up as?
They play with quite an interesting formation. They play with a 4-1-4-1. They've played the occasional 4-3-3, but certainly in 3 out of the last 4 games, and they were quite important games against Niger, against Benin, and against Tunisia, who are a great rival, they've played 4-1-4-1. So it's Bono, obviously, in goal. The edge on the wing, no.
I really tried when I was writing this. I really tried to not do any rubbish U2 dad jokes, and you've just completely ruined it. Let's hope if Morocco win the World Cup, it will be a beautiful day. I could go on all day. I've got so many U2 puns I could use.
What's weird about Rabat in the capital city of Morocco?
Go on.
The streets have no name.
Yeah, so we can do this. I can do this all day. As you well know, I know the words. I know every word to every U2 song ever published, so I can do this all day. Anyway, get on with it.
They've got Chibi, Bioniq, Matena, and Bekamari across the back. Importantly, Amrabat is sitting there. He's sitting there as a 1. defending the back four, if you like, very effectively. Absolutely his role. They got 4 across the middle, and then either El Kabi at the point of attack or El Neziri. And they will swap, and out of those 4 games, El Kabi started 2, El Neziri started 2. They're just effective, and they'll swap those 2 around. So 4-1-4-1, it serves them extremely well. Yeah. It's a system they know very well.
Do you think they've just been swapping around because they've qualified and all of that? And it's...
No. They only really qualified in the last couple of games, didn't they? Because they've only played 7 out of 10.
They were always going. Let's face it, they were always going to. But do you think that's generally seems to be a bit of a tactic? They just move them around.
I think it is. I think it is. I think you'll see lots of game time for both of them.
Interesting. Well, okay. No, thank you for that. I think the reason why I picked those 5 players, and this kind of goes to, and we'll come into this a bit later when we do our predictions, is the thing about Morocco is they've got these sort of 5 good players, and there are 1 or 2 others, but behind that they've got very little, and they haven't got a lot of experience. And my concern about Morocco is if 1 or 2 of these players get injured or are unable to play for other reasons, then that has a massive impact. I don't think they've got good squad depth.
I think that's right. You're right. After that first 11, it's just a desert, really.
Honestly, I wonder why. I really wonder why.
That's a truly horrible piece of music.
I love that music. It's proper 1970s.
It's played at my funeral, isn't it?
Which is going to be sooner than you think.
I think it is.
It's proper 1970s quiz music, man. That's what we're all. Right. It is time for everybody's favourite time of the week. The pipe is out.
Come on.
It's time for Kenny's quiz on the back of a pretty reasonable week last week. 3 questions about Morocco.
Yep.
Do play along at home. Shout out the answer if you know it. Question number 1. What mountain range covers most of Morocco?
Oh, that must be the Atlas Mountains.
Why must it be the Atlas Mountains?
Because they're the Atlas Lions. Come on a roll.
Yeah, I wonder about it. To be fair, I thought that was probably the easiest question I could possibly ask you, but, I felt a bit sorry for you, and there we go. So number 2 is, well done if you got that right at home, Morocco's national drink is the mint tea, or, as we like to pronounce it in Morocco, thé à la menthe. Did you like that?
Thé à la menthe.
Yeah, that as well. Now, you're a bit of a tea expert. I remember you once held a tea. This is why I've asked you this question. You put an event on, didn't you, that just involved teas from the world?
I did. It was brilliant.
Was it?
It was great. Yeah. Well, no. But it was...
okay, I popped into it.
Yeah, you did. No, it was great. Just covered in tea.
Well, I said, I just wanted a coffee. I was like, no, nothing.
The wrong place there, mate. But
let's go at Costa.
Right, a tea question. That's good.
Yeah, so Morocco's national drink is the mint tea and the thé à la menthe. It's made by adding mint and sugar or honey to which type of tea? Which type of tea it makes the Morocco's national drink mint tea? It's got a specific name. I thought you'd know this because you are self-complained. Because when you had your tea exhibition, that's all you went on about for flipping months.
I know.
You claimed to become an expert in every type of tea. So let's see.
Well, it has to be. It has to be an African kind of tea. So it isn't going to be Assam or anything from India. I mean, is tea? I mean, just let's be clear. In order for something to be tea, it has to be Camellia sinensis. That's tea.
Don't try
anything else. If you say, so if it's Camellia sinensis, I'm saying
don't just try and make stuff up. This has got a name of a tea. It's called something tea.
Okay, I'm going to say
if you don't know it, you'll never get it because it's impossible.
Bergamot tea.
No, the answer is gunpowder tea.
It's not tea.
It is gunpowder tea. That's what it says on the quiz.
Right, I've got to sat here for the next 45 years and not got that one.
I don't think you're going to be here for another 45 minutes. The way you're going, you're not going to be here for another 45 minutes.
Right. True. But anyway, sorry. So that's 1 out of 2.
If you got that at home, well done. If you live in Morocco,
Yeah.
you know what gunpowder tea is. And if you don't live in Morocco and you got it right, congratulations. What Moroccan city, this is question number 3, what Moroccan city has a law that all buildings must be red? And I mean the colour red, not as
Well,
you've got to have
how
white.
many Moroccan cities do I know? Well, Rabat, I know. But Agadir, maybe? Casablanca, I think it's in Morocco. It
You will
might
have
be in
seen this on
Tangier.
loads of films. Without really, like all these things, when you watch films, you don't really notice it. But you will have seen this on loads of films.
I'm going to go with Rabat
Very
because it starts with a R.
I like your thinking. Red starts with a R and Rabat starts with a R. Impressive, but wrong. The answer is Marrakesh. And you'd recognise it. You definitely recognise
Yeah, I
it.
would.
Yeah. So 1 out of 3, average, I suppose.
I reckon it is my average, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But well done, mate.
Oh, sorry about that. At least I got one.
At least you got one. At least you got one.
No
Console.
one was getting the tea one.
Well, I thought you might do because you keep telling me you're the world's leading expert on tea, but then again, you keep telling me you're
And
the
I
world's
am.
leading expert on everything. Well, you're clearly not. Right. Let's get on. Console yourself with an advert from our sponsor.
Yeah, let's do that because Global Sports Podcast Network is partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements, because your body is unique. Because without knowing what deficiencies you have, taking off the shelf supplements might mean you're not getting enough of the nutrients you need and maybe too many of the ones you don't need. So Bioniq provides 100% tailor-made supplements. They're designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels. So click the link in the show notes, use the code GSPN 2025. You'll get 40% off your first order.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
This is Road to World Cup 26 podcast brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for making us your most important weekly listen. You can catch up with all things GSPN on the Daily Premier League podcast, which features, if you've not had enough of this by now, by the way, it features Ken and I on several of the week's podcasts we do together. Why are you making that face?
I'm just saying, I'm making that face as one of delight, really. That's
not
my...
a delighted. I'll tell you what, if that's your delighted face, I'd hate to see if you're feeling a bit
No,
peeved.
it's kind of, I was about to say, it's an absolute, it's like a national treasure, isn't it, that podcast now? Daily Premier
That's
League.
good fun. That's good fun. There's some news today which we're going to do on tomorrow morning's podcast, which is very interesting. But you're going to have to wait for that because we're doing World Cup today. And just before we finish the podcast with a look at how we think Morocco are going to get on, let's have a quick look at the manager, Waleed Regragi. He is the manager of. Don't know. I've got it right. I spent ages. To be fair, actually, before we did this, so for half an hour before we did this, I was making sure that I had all the pronunciations of all the players right.
That's going the extra mile, Nick.
You know, I like to do that. 44 caps for Morocco as a right back, as a player. He took over the national team in 2022, led them to the World Cup semi-finals in Qatar, as you were saying a little bit earlier on, Ken, and he's highly regarded. He's regarded as one of the best coaches at the moment, one of the best coaches in the world. Built, of course, on that success in the Qatar World Cup by absolutely rampaging through the qualifying, haven't they? I mean, and I'm really, really interested to see how they're going to get on at AFCON.
Yeah.
Because they're hosting it, of course, and it's the first time Morocco have hosted it.
If they win it, does that mean we've got a real contender on our hands? Is it possible for an African nation to win the World Cup?
Yes, it's possible. Yeah. Of course it's possible. It's 11v11.
Yeah.
Will it happen in America?
Maybe.
Don't know. But bear in mind the next World Cup is on home soil, isn't it?
This is.
So that might be the time.
Yeah, that makes a bit of sense.
I don't think it'll be.
No other team in the African qualification has got anything like their record.
No, that's right. Yeah. Regragi's style is very much Nottingham Forest 24-25. It's solid defence, nice and tight, use the pace of the strikers to hit teams on the counter. So soak up pressure, bring your opponent in, bang, get in behind them, because they've got real good pace up the top end of the pitch. So that's the kind of way he plays. But it's very interesting to see his rise to prominence really in the last 2 years or 3 years since he took over in 2022. And it's a big year for Morocco. It really is a big year for them, because there may well be a sense that it's kind of not now or never, but it may be a sense that all roads have been building up to this moment. And
It's a
with
golden
AFCON,
generation.
yeah,
I think
AFCON
this
now,
World Cup and the next one.
and they're all coming to a good age, aren't they?
Mm.
When we looked at it, I mean, obviously you've got the goalie who's over 30, but then there are very few goalies who aren't. And when he'll be 35 next year, and that's nothing to play in a World Cup. He's fine. But the players we mentioned, Hakimi's 26, Amrabat is 29. We've got Ensiri, who's 28. They're all kind of in the prime of their footballing lives, careers, journeys, whatever you want to call it.
They're going to be a very interesting watch. They're going to be a really interesting watch of the World Cup.
So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Right, let's close off the podcast then by predicting how we think Morocco are going to get on. And I think we've to be honest with you, I've kind of moved my position over the course of the last 45 minutes, because I researched it all, and some of it took me by surprise, some of it didn't. And the more I think about them, the more I'm impressed by them. Anyway, I've made my prediction.
What do you reckon?
I hope I'm not going to look too stupid. Well, okay. We've talked about them being on a crest of a wave. They're very reliant on their front players. And as I said before, they're very reliant on a small group of experienced players who do play at a very high level. But behind that, there is very little depth. So that is a definite concern. They showed in Qatar how good they can be on their day. Some of the mature players are maturing to the right age, as we've just talked about. We will get a better idea when we see how they perform in AFCON. But whilst they have capability of getting to the quarterfinals, I worry primarily about the lack of strength and depth they've got in a competition, and I wonder if Qatar was a bit of a one-off. So I've got them going out in the round of 16.
Very interesting. And I think you're about right. I had round of 16. I do have round of 16. You're absolutely right to point out the squad depth. But they are very solid. They have a very clear system. They know how to play it. They're well drilled. It's a well-applied system. They've got the players that match the system, which is a very important thing. You don't always get that. They do. And they execute it extraordinarily well. So I think they are a team that's making the most of their talents. I think they've got a manager who makes the most of their talent. And that they are legitimately 11th in the world. So if you're legitimately 11th in the world, one would argue you get to round of 16. You should do that. I think they will do that. Can I see them really? The ultimate test for me is if they come across an England or a France or a Spain or things like that. Can I see them getting through that? Well, they did get through that in the last one. But I think it'll be difficult in the United States. I think it's slightly different in Qatar. It's an Arabic-based country. They probably have lots of support. It won't quite be the case in the States. I think round of 16 as well. But I think there'll be a great watch. Looking forward to it. And they could surprise us. They could be a real dark horse. And I think in the World Cup that follows, it could be completely different.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. I had a sense that you were going to have them go a little bit further in the competition.
I was toying with round of eight, quarterfinal.
Yeah, I that's where I thought you might have them. Yeah.
Yeah, I did definitely think about that. It is there's 48 teams. That means there's actually quite a few poor teams. The chances of drawing a poor team in round 32 is quite high. But I just think ultimately they'll come a cropper. Really, on the basis of I just don't think they get enough stiff competition. Once they come across some really good teams, I think it'll be quite a different picture for them.
That's very fair. That's very fair. Right then, that brings an end to our deep dive into Morocco. I really enjoyed that, Ken. I'm not going to. I thought that was fascinating.
Fascinating country.
Yeah, fascinating
Fascinating
country. Really interesting football stories, and a team that we're excited about. And certainly, I'm going to keep a very close eye on them in AFCON, because that might signal what they're going to be doing next year in the summer. Right, where are we going to go next week, my friend?
We're going to Uruguay.
Do you mean Uruguay?
Uruguay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uruguay.
That's really. I was just wondering where this place was, whether it had to go to
Uruguay.
another
Which
planet.
would be an interesting one. An interesting one. I'm fascinated by South American countries. I think Uruguay, obviously, where was the first World Cup played?
In Uruguay.
In Uruguay. So they've got, of
Who
all
won
the
it?
history,
And who won it?
Brazil.
No, Uruguay.
Did they?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. They've won the World Cup as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Uruguay. It's going to be an interesting one. Lots to talk about.
Good. Okay. Well, until then, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you very much for being part of the daily Premier League, wrong podcast, Road to World Cup 26 family, as you are now. And until we speak again, look after yourselves, look after each other. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.